In this video, we're going to look at solving linear inequalities in one variable, and this is the second part. In one, it says graph the solution and state the answer in interval notation. And in A, we have -2 is less than or equal to 3x plus 1 is less than 7. And the first thing they want us to do is subtract 1 from all three parts of the inequality. So we have -2 minus 1 is less than or equal to 3x plus 1 minus 1 is less than 7 minus 1. -2 minus 1 is -3, and this is less than or equal to 3x. 1 minus 1 is 0, and then we have less than 7 minus 1 is 6. And now we want to divide all three parts by 3. So we have -3 divided by 3 is less than or equal to 3x divided by 3 is less than 6 divided by 3. -3 divided by 3 is -1 is less than or equal to 3x divided by 3 is equal to x, and that's less than 6 divided by 3, which is equal to 2. So now they want us to graph the solution. So x is going to be greater than or equal to -1, and because we can be equal to -1, we're going to have a solid dot, and x is going to be less than 2, and since we cannot include 2, we're going to have an open circle, and then we're going to shade in between the two. In interval notation, we're going to have bracket -1 to 2, and then parentheses. And now if we want to check, we're going to pick a value that was in our solution and plug it back into the original inequality. So I'm going to choose 0. So we have -2 is less than or equal to 3 times 0 plus 1 is less than 7. And now we have -2 is less than or equal to 3 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1 and is less than 7. And 1 is in between -2 and 7, so our solution set is correct. In B, we have -6 is less than -2 times x plus 5 is less than or equal to 0. So the first thing we want us to do is simplify the middle part of the inequality. And we're going to simplify by distributing the -2 through the parentheses. So we're going to have -6 is less than -2 times x is -2x, and -2 times 5 is equal to -10, and that's less than or equal to 0. And now they want us to add 10 to all three parts of the inequality. So we have -6 plus 10 is less than -2x minus 10 plus 10, and that's less than or equal to 0 plus 10. And now -6 plus 10 is 4, and that's less than -2x, and -10 plus 10 is 0, and that's less than or equal to 0 plus 10 is 10. And now they want us to divide all three parts by -2. And it's important to remember that when we divide by a negative number, we're going to flip our inequality signs. So we're going to have 4 divided by -2 is greater than -2x divided by -2 is greater than or equal to 10 divided by -2. 4 divided by -2 is -2. It's greater than -2x divided by -2 is equal to x. And we have greater than or equal to sign. And then 10 divided by -2 is -5. So when we graph our solution set, we have x is greater than or equal to -5. So we're going to have a solid dot on -5. And x is less than -2, so we're going to have an open circle on -2. And now we're going to shade in between the two dots. And now they want us to state the solution in interval notation. So we have from -5 with a bracket to -2 parenthesis. And now we want to check to make sure our solution is correct. So we're going to choose a number in our solution set. So I'm going to choose -3, and we have -6 is less than -2 times -3 plus 5 is less than or equal to 0. So I have -6 is less than -3 plus 5 is 2. 2 times -2 is -4. And -4 is greater than -6 and is less than or equal to 0. So our solution set is correct. In 2, it says, explain why there is no solution to the inequality 3 is less than x plus 4 is less than 0. And there's no solution because 3 is not less than 0. So there's no way for x plus 4 to be in the middle. And that's our video on solving linear inequalities in one variable, part 2.